this whole meeting that they had a choice, that they didn't really have to. Well, I never was real good at math, but if you need so many deputies over there, and Dave can only have so many, and they don't go, they're out of a job. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So they were put in a bad position. They had a choice: go over here or possibly not have a job. Well, it's not as rosy as what Mr. Dick and Mr. Moore make it sound. Them guys didn't have much of a choice. All right, as far as Bob Dick and Gary Moore, they're not elected by the citizens of this county. In my opinion, and I'm not trying to be rude to them, they work their careers, they're getting good pensions. More likely they have health benefits through their retirement. You guys talk about wanting to make the county a better place to live and bring people in here and make jobs for young people. Right there, you're giving two guys a high-paying, good job with benefits that could go to a younger man. They work their career. Let them retire. And I know for a fact there's a lot of good deputies. If just say it's going to happen, it has to happen, there's no question about it. I know a lot of deputies that work for Mr. Godin were perfectly qualified to step up and run this organization if there was no other way to do it. That makes me mad. We don't need a retired state trooper or a retired city cop to tell people how to run the police force in the county. Secondly, I feel personally this is about control, is what it really comes down to. It's power and control. It's not really about money, because I believe if you got where Dave goes, you could have worked out the budget. You can say what you want to, and I'm sure he can say what he wants to. But it really comes down to control and power. Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is Bob Dick and Gary Moore going to answer to? If something happens, all right, I'll give you a scenario. That one of the officers stops a guy in a traffic arrest, and something happens, and maybe there's a fight, and the guy gets hurt. So he is upset. He was wrong. Now, the situation right now, he can go to the sheriff. Doesn't matter if the sheriff is a Republican or a Democrat. Because I've lived in this county for 52 years. I've lived under Republican sheriffs and Democratic sheriffs. And I got to admit, it didn't matter what party there was, that office was run with dignity. And I never had a bad relationship with any deputy. Well, you can go to the sheriff, be it Dave Goat or whoever, and he'll try to make it right because he's elected. He has to answer to the people in this county. So he doesn't want a deputy out there doing things that he shouldn't be doing. But in this case, who are you going to go to? Who's Bob Dick and Gary Moore going to answer to?
Bob Dick and Gary Moore work for the commissioners, so just like Jerry Branch in finance, just like Steve Young in public works.
Okay, you're saying they're going to answer to you, right?
If there's something really wrong and then something happened, then we'd have to take that responsibility and try to do something about it.
All right, but
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
You three would have the ultimate decision, or they would come to you, like they go to the sheriff right now. He reprimands the deputies. Are you going to step in if there's a problem there?
No. It will go to Bob, Dick, or Moore.
That's what I'm saying. We don't. All right, listen, Jim, you're not listening to me. They are not elected. We cannot say anything, do anything to them. We can get at Dave. We cannot elect him if we don't feel he's doing a good job. But we can't get at them. So we can get at you. So you're going to be over them. If, say this theoretical problem it escalated to this point. We went to you. Do you have any education in law enforcement? Do you have any at all?
I don't have it in finance or public works either. I'm not an engineer.
All right. I think that law enforcement is a serious issue. It should be addressed as such. I've lived here. I've had some experience. One thing I will say about the sheriff's deputies, they're well trained, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here, but their people skills are far better than the state police. They have a job to do. They approach everything. If they can't solve it, they'll club you. Now, a sheriff's deputy has never approached any problem that I've ever seen that way. He's diplomatic. He tries to work with the people. And if it's a serious situation, he's well trained and he'll handle it as such. But I don't think many people will find fault where deputies ever overstep their bounds. And I'll give you a quick example and then I'll leave. I lived on Willowbrook Road for a long time. It's in the city. There was a fellow that parked a tractor and trailer in front of my house and let it run every night. It had a reefer on it. I called the city police. They come out and they said, well, it's not illegal for him to park that there. It's just a dispute between you and your neighbor. Well, they wouldn't do nothing. I called the state police. That's a designated snow emergency route. So in essence, it is a state highway. They wouldn't even come out. They said, screw that. I called the sheriff's department. The deputy come out. I explained it. And he said, in other words, if this isn't solved, this could escalate into a problem. People could possibly get hurt. I said, yeah. He goes up. He talks to the guy. He told me, he said it was illegal to park that truck on the road to start with, but the city police did nothing, and the state police told me it's not a problem. But that's what they're good at. They're good at solving problems. And if you take that responsibility away, and they have nobody to answer to, you're going to generate a lot of problems that you guys are going to end up answering those questions and fielding all that. So you might want to think about that a little bit. Thank you.